Hey guys, how we doing? This is just going to be the video for the review of the workbook. Pretty quick here. Terrible. Look at that. These are beats. Okay, all right. I don't really like this first review or this first example in the review because it is confusing when you actually get to the slopes because it's kind of the reverse of what you expect it to be. So I'm just going to skip it. So we're comparing proportional relationships. Again, proportional relationships are a relationship that go through the center or 0, 0 of the graph. Okay, so moving on here, we have two trains traveling at a constant rate. Find the rate of each train. Which train is traveling at the faster rate? So this is our question we're looking for. So we want to find the speed, right? Miles compared to hours, right? So our rise divided by our run. Okay, so for train A, our run, our x values, are going up by 1 hour, but these are going up by 25. Right? And so rise over run is when you take your y values, figure out the difference between them. That's your vertical change, and you divide by the horizontal change. So that's 25 divided by 1, or 25 miles per hour. Okay. Now I've got train B. We're going to find our slope here. Not a great graph, but it's better on yours. So I've got 120 right here, and then I'll find 240 right here. Right. And if you have trouble figuring out those points to kind of like match up, start just find points on the line that go through the corner of the grid and draw a cross on it. And then the center of that cross, if it's on the line also, that's a point you can use to figure out your slope. So I go up 2 boxes, but each box is 10. So since I'm going up 2 boxes, 2 times 10 is 20 for my rise, and then 1 for my run. Okay, so remember, it's rise over run, so it's 20 over 1, or 20 miles per hour for train B. 25 miles per hour for train A, so train A is faster. That's a terrible way to spell train. Train A is faster. Okay. 16-ounce bottle of water. Whew, man, that's a long one. Just read it. So store A, we're take price divided by quantity. Okay. So it's $1.28 for that bottle, divided by 16 ounces. Use a calculator. 0.08. So A is 8 cents per ounce. Okay, and then we look at store B. That's represented by this equation, y equals 0.07x. So that means that B is 7 cents per ounce. So all that means is store B is cheaper. Right? Costs less per ounce, so store B costs less per ounce. Easy peasy. Again, proportional relationships cross through the center of the graph. Okay, that's 0, 0. So your y-intercept is 0. So finding slope. So this one right here, this uses slope formula to figure it out, figure out the rise over run. The 2 points they're using are 2, 30, so over 2 up 30, and then 460, so over 4 up 60 right there, okay? 2, 30, 4, 60. This is our first point, so it's x1 and y1. This is our second point, so it's x2, y2. Now we just take these, put them into our equation right here, okay? Y2 is 60, so that's why it goes first. You subtract your y1, 60 minus 30. Y's are on top, x's are on the bottom, so 4 minus 2 on the bottom. Subtract, simplify to 15. Okay, so 15, let's see, find the slope of the line, shows the, yeah, so 15 minutes per mile, basically. Yeah, it took them, yeah, so they're going pretty slow, like 4 miles an hour. Okay. Graph shows the proportions of blue paint, red paint, blue paint, and yellow paint that Brianna mixes to make green paint. What is the slope of the line? Tell what it means in the problem situation. So you don't really need to do this. You can if you want to, right? You can use 0, 0 and 5, 6 for this, right? It would be 6 minus 0. No, this is 6, 5. My bad. 6, 5, sorry. So it would be 5 minus 0, so 5 minus 0 on top, and then 6 minus 0 on the bottom, which gives you a run of 5, sorry, a rise of 5, and a run of 6. So slope is 5 over 6, which means that you need 5 gallons of yellow paint and 6 gallons of blue paint to make green. Okay. All right. So it's basically relating like, oh, you need to mix them, but this is the ratio that you mix them, right? You put 5 gallons of yellow paint in, 6 gallons of blue paint, and boom, it comes out the perfect green. Okay, so analyzing equations in the form of y equals mx. These are proportional relationships. That mx, but we're not adding anything to it, means that it's going through 0, 0, right? So plot a point at 0, 0. We've got our equation right here, right? We're not adding anything to it, so it means we're adding 0 to it. So 0, 0, and then our slope is 2, or 2 over 1. So it goes up 2 over 1. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. Mixture of nuts contains 1 cup of walnuts for every 3 cups of peanuts. Write a linear equation that represents the relationship between peanuts, x, and walnuts, y. So this is going to be y is our walnuts, and it's 1/3 x, right? Because it's the rise of walnuts, because that's our y, over the run of peanuts, which is our x. So plot a point at 0, 0, and then we go up 1, right 3, and then that's our line. Okay. Let's see, I'm running out of battery here. Okay, we're fine. Okay, y-intercept. So this is where your line crosses the y-axis. In this case, this is a proportional relationship, so it's going through 0. So you could say 0 or 0, 0. Okay, same thing. This one is not going through, so it's not proportional. I don't really like it when they mix them around like this because they basically just do it to confuse you. Okay, so y equals mx plus b, right? mx plus b. So this represents the cost of getting a car wash and using the vacuum for X minutes. So what is the y-intercept? Well, it's this one right here, right? And it's that right there. Okay, same thing. Now plus 5, the b is right there. So our b value is 5. I'm going to do capital B's because my b's tend to look like 6s. So capital B is 5. So what is the y-intercept? So you can say 5 or 0, 5. Either one. You don't want to put this in your equation, but you want to put that in your equation when you write it, right? And then what does it represent? So it's your starting point, your initial value. In this case, it is the car wash because it's not associated with the x, which is that getting the vacuum for X minutes. So this, the number attached to this x represents the vacuuming, which is this right here. So it's 0.5, 50 cents per minute, basically. And then this is in addition to it. So what does y represent? $5 for a car wash. Okay. What is the equation of a line? Okay. Well, y equals mx plus b, right? Slope. Y-intercept. Technically, it doesn't really matter when you're figuring out the equation which one you start with. You can figure out that this is a -3 and it goes up 1 over 2. Sorry, up 2 over 1. So that's your 2. Yeah, you could do that too. You just find 2 points. But it's probably easiest to start with this point right here and then find your other point right there. So when we're graphing, you always start with your y-intercept. Okay, so we find that -1 down on our y-axis. And then our rise means we go up 1. And our run means we go to the right by 2. Rise up by 1, run right by 2. So up 1 over 2. That's our line. Yay. Okay, now start with your y-intercept. Find another point. Okay, again, use the kind of like the grid to find that point. And then we're going to go down. I mean, shoot, we got plenty of it. So we'll go down 1 and right 1. Right, so it's -1 over 1 or -1. Okay, and our y-intercept is 1, 2, 3. So when we put it together, and y equals mx plus b, it's -1 right here, but we can just write it as -x plus 3. And we're done.